Hi folks, I'm back again. Today I'm going to discuss about why science matters. Firstly, the term science comes from Latin scientia, means to know. Learning and knowing about science helps understanding the world that we live in and the world within us. The story of science is just the journey of humanity itself. We as species always have an urge to discover and understand the world better. Ancient civilization expressed themselves by exploring and populating of the world and the development of simple technologies that allowed them to improve their lifestyles. This process began at least about 4,000 years ago by ancient Greeks, Mesopotamians, Chinese, Indians, and Persians, and there were many. We must remember it was not easy because some places of the world science were a bad taboo and was forbidden, and people adapted to different organizing principles, including the innovation of spiritual and mystical explanation for phenomena. This prevented scientific inquiries. In the ancient time, for example, why sun rises and sets, and what happens when it is out of sight? What are the sprinkling lights in the night sky? Or why there are seasons in some part of the earth? And many of these questions were deferred as supernatural causes. But the ancient Greeks, around the middle of the first millennium, were interested in a new approach. It merged that natural laws of the universe did not follow God's, but obeyed strict laws governed by various aspects. At first, the idea about what these laws might be were based not really around us, but was based on best guesses, pleasing in line with religious teachings.
Medieval times. Many European thinkers during the late medieval period began to break away from the old ways and started to develop new approaches in which theories and hypotheses were developed, mostly through observations and test experiments. The application of mathematics to understand various aspects of the world, which was championed by Italian polymath Galileo Galilei. Galileo, he could be considered one of the primary thinkers who led to modern science. Galileo was born in Pisa, Italy on February 15, 1564. By the time he died, on January 8, 1642, he was as famous as any famous person in Europe. Moreover, when he was born there was no such thing as science yet. And by the time he died, science was well on its way to becoming a discipline, and its concepts and methods of complete philosophical system. He truly played a key role in any history of science and philosophy. He is the central figure of the scientific revolution of the 17th century. The field that we called physics rapidly rose to prominence in part because its concern with measurable phenomena such as force, mass, and motion lent itself to the mathematical approach. Yet only recently have we come to recognize that the scope of physics is not confined to the orbits of planets, the motion of projectiles, or the fall of apples. During the 17th and 18th centuries, people became interested in discovering the natural laws that govern the physical universe. The force of gravity, joined by three other fundamental forces such as strong, weak, and electromagnetism, explained how matter interacts on a huge range of scales, from very large to very small. The structure of matter has given its secrets, like division into atoms of several different elements, subatomic particles that are governed by the strange laws of quantum mechanics. The behavior of matters in fields of cosmology, chemistry, biology, and electronics keep coming back to the same physical concerns of forces, motion, mass, and energy. Physics. The area of physics is far wider than many of us have learned in our school or in our textbooks. The physicists have turned their attention to undetectable forms of matter, dark matter, which is about 85% of the total matter and makes up to 27% of the whole universe. The visible matter, which includes stars, planets, moons, all living organisms, including us, is actually only 5% of the entire universe, Then there is another unexplainable, and 68% of the universe is not known to the physicists, which is called dark energy. This dark energy is causing the runaway expansion of our cosmos. Apart from that, the physicists have learned to forge and manipulate strange bonds between subatomic particles on the quantum scale. In addition, they have uncovered links between fundamental forces that offer tantalizing hints that a theory of everything might be the one to explain the macro to micro cosmology. The beauty of science, especially physics, is all about evaluating what we know about the way in which the world and the universe around us behave. In addition, asking the right questions, thinking of possible answers, and most importantly, testing them. The scientific method. The scientific method that lies in the heart of modern science developed during a period of renewed interest and confidence in inquiry into the natural and physical world. The method is rooted in empirical evidence where objectively observed and tested rather than approached only through reason. A theory or hypothesis emerges from the observation of the world and from thoughts about why it might be as it is. For example, the ancients may have observed that the plants that receive sunlight grows while the ones in the shady areas see little or no growth, based on the observations that they may have proposed to grow plants on sun ends. The hypothesis could then be tested by experimenting or structured observations. The hypothesis testing may seem a strange way of looking at things, but whether hypothesis is valid depends on whether it can be proved to be wrong. For example, a hypothesis such as all men are taller than 50 centimeters can be proved wrong by finding the shortest man, but it can't be proved right, because we would need to examine every man that has ever lived or will ever live.
Finally, why know about science? It's a trend that in the late 20th century to claim to know nothing about science or mathematics. Also, it is popular belief that scientific knowledge was somehow at odds with being a cultured individual. In 1959, the famous English scientist C.P. Noe lectured about the animosity existed between two cultures of science and the arts or humanities. This deep division in intellectual life may have held up human progress. The divide remained and even increased in the following decades. However, lately it has been narrowing, I guess. More people prefer informed appreciation of the world around us, the laws it follows, and how we can discover those laws put us in the best position to make the most of our individual lives and the resources the planet affords us as species. Understanding something of science also enables us to make informed decisions and protect us from deceptions practiced by large corporations, politicians, religious groups, and media against uninformed public. A little knowledge can protect you from scaremongering and scams. Most importantly, increase your engagement in and wonder at the world around you. Now, finally, to sum up, physics is the science of everything, and everyone should have a grasp of at least the basics. I hope you enjoyed the video and look forward for my next video, and thanks for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, and please share with friends and family. Thank you. Have a great day.